Hey everybody, and welcome back to the board meeting. Today we're doing another R&R video reviewing and rating all the different games I've been playing in the past 2 weeks with friends, family, and even solo. I've got 7 different games I'm going to talk to you about today. I'm going to try and make through it. I've kind of been sick lately, so my voice is kind of cracky or whatever. But I've got 7 games. I'm going to try and go through them relatively quickly and give a little short explanation of the game, give a little bit of a review, give my final rating of that game. So let's just jump right into it this week. The first game on the week is Uno Ultimate, which is essentially a Marvel-themed version of Uno. And my kid had been wanting to play this, so I ended up purchasing this. And pretty much it is basically like regular Uno. But in this version, you are going to get a deck of cards for yourself, and you are going to play as one of these Marvel superheroes. The base game comes with 4, but there's a couple expansions where you can get more of them. So basically you play as Thor or whoever you pick, and you take their deck of cards, and for that, and then it basically plays out pretty much the same as Uno, where you can play a card on top of another card of the same color, or you can play a card of the same symbol on top of another symbol to like change colors. But each player is going to get like a special ability that their character has, and each of their cards is, some of the cards will have some certain things that is going to add a little bit more to Uno. And in this game, the first player who runs out of cards wins the game, or it's the last player standing, because if you run out of cards, that is basically your health, you are out of the game. So there's now 2 ways that you can win the game in this one. There's going to be cards that make your opponents lose cards from their deck, go through their deck quicker and stuff. And there's cards that are going to get your cards back from the deck and put them back into the deck. So, I mean, it's better than regular Uno. I'll say that. This one, it gets a rating of 5.5. So it's not like amazing, but it's quite a bit better than regular Uno in my opinion. But it's still kind of a below average game right there. So let's go to the next game of the week. This is The Thing: Infection at Outpost 31. And I've never played the movie, or never watched the movie that this game is based on, The Thing. This is a game, it's a cooperative game with a hidden traitor mechanism built into it, and there is possibility that there's going to be multiple traitors by the game's end. In this game, it is sort of like a combination of Resistance meets the Dead of Winter game. In this game, each round there's going to be a leader for that round, and they are going to get a mission, and that leader is going to choose several people among your group to go on that mission. Everybody is going to have a hand of cards, and for that particular mission, you're going to need certain cards to be played for that mission. So each person who's going on that mission will give a card that hopefully helps complete that mission. But I mean, if you are the Thing or the traitor in this game, you are going to want to put up things that don't particularly help for that mission, or you want to put in these sabotage cards that will just kind of ruin the mission altogether. So you are trying to just basically, if you're the Thing, just make all the missions fail. The other people, the good people in this, are trying to complete so many missions and get out of that base for this game. So like I said, it's very much like a Dead of Winter meets the Resistance game for me. I like the gameplay. It's very simple gameplay. It's easier to get into Dead of Winter than Dead of Winter. My one complaint about this game really is like the miniatures. The quality of these miniatures are really, really terrible, and it's hard to distinguish which character is yours, actually, from just looking at them. It gets a 7 rating for me. It's like I said, I enjoyed my time with it. It's going to be easier to get to the table than Dead of Winter, but I don't like it as much as Dead of Winter. But like I said, it might get played more than Dead of Winter just because it's a little bit easier to get to the table. Let's go to our next game of the week. The next game is First Rat. This is this worker movement, resource management, efficiency puzzle of a game. And the theme of this First Rat is you are playing as these junkyard rats, and you are trying to collect parts around the junkyard in order to build a rocket ship to go to the Cheese Moon. And on your turn, you can move one of your rats 1 to 5 spaces, or you can move all of your rats 1 to 3 spaces. The thing is, you're going to be moving up this board. You have to move your rats where they land on the same color tile, the circles, these ovals that will give you an action. But you can't have them land on the same tile. So they're going to be spread out throughout the board. And then you're going to take those actions that you've landed on. And it's mostly gathering resources, doing stuff like that. It's very much resource management. But there is a ton of different tracks that you can work on in this game. You can either go and collect rocket ship parts to build the rocket ship to get points that way, to get your cubes on the track over there, or you can collect cheese and try to just spend your cheese to get on that track, or you can try and go up the track as fast as you can with your rats and be the first ratronauts, and you'll get points for doing that. Or you can have this light bulb track. You can go up that and put your cubes on that to score points. Or you can gather up food and go up around that track to score points. There's a ton of different places, ton of different strategies you can try to work on for this game. I'm not sure which one is the best. This is a game I really like. This is an 8 rating for me. This is the best game I've played that's new to me in a while for myself, because it's one of those efficiency games that you have to be efficient every single move, and I really like those types of games, and this is definitely that type of game. So yeah, it gets an 8 rating for me. Let's go to the next game. The next game is, it's the third straight reviews and ratings episode where I'm talking about a love letter game, but this is Archer Once You Go Blackmail. And this is a love letter game, like I said, and it plays very much like a love letter, so I won't talk too much about it. It's basically, you have a card in your hand, which has a number on it, and it's got a action that you can do. On your turn, you're going to draw a card, so you now have 2. Then you're going to play one of those cards and do that action. And it's going to start eliminating other players, doing different effects, whatever the card says, and hopefully you are the last person alive for that round, and if there's multiple people alive in the round by the time the deck runs out, whoever's got the highest card in their hand wins the game, or wins that round, and if you win so many rounds, then you win the game. This is going to get a 6.5 rating from me, just because it's not too much different than Love Letter, but I do like Archer, so the theme was interesting to me, but it's just not that different from regular Love Letter. So let's go to another card game now. This is Play 9. Now this game is very much like the classic card game Golf, or like newer games like Cabo or Silver Amulet. In this game, you're going to have 8 cards in front of you. 2 of them are going to be flipped over at the start of the game. You're going to play 9 rounds of this, and you want low scores each round, and the person whoever's got the lowest score by the end of 9 rounds is going to win the game. Like I said, you have 2 cards that are revealed to you at the start of that round, and throughout the round, you are going to take cards randomly off the top of the deck, or you're going to take the card that was been discarded by the last person and put that card into your cards by replacing the cards that are already in there. And if you get a pair of the same card, like you have a 9 and a 9, a top and bottom, those cancel each other out and become a 0. So there's different ways that you can score, or not score, I should say, in this game. It gets a 6.5 rating for me. It's a decent little card game, but I prefer Cabo over this one. So if you do like Play 9, I would suggest checking out Cabo. That plays a little bit faster than this one, but very similar mechanically than it. So let's go to our 6th game of this week. This is a classic card game that I got to play for the first time. This is Bohnanza. This is an Uwe Rosenberg little card game. This is a hand management game about beans, basically. You are going to start the game with so many cards in your hand, and you cannot rearrange these cards at any time. Whenever you draw cards, it has to go on a certain area where you can't rearrange them. So it's interesting that on your turn, you are going to play at least 1 or 2 bean cards out of your hand in that order and lay them in a row in front of you. You can only have 2 rows of beans in front of you at a time, and the rows are all of one type of bean. So if you can't play one of those cards, you have to, or if it's not the cards that you're playing aren't part of those beans that are in front of you, you have to discard or sell one of those rows of beans and get however many points you get for those. It's a set collecting game. Like certain beans, if you have 2 of them, you'll get a coin. If you have 5 of them, you'll get 2 coins. Stuff like that. But what's interesting in this game is you can trade. It's very much like Catan, the trading card game to me, because you're going to be trading cards out of your hand for other people's beans that they're revealing. And it's interesting because you want to get rewards for your trades that you're doing, but you also just want to get rid of certain cards that are in your hand that are coming up, these beans that are useless to you. You want to get rid of them because you have to play them if it's your turn and that's the next card to play. So I really like that part of it. This is going to get a 7 rating for me. It's a game that, like I said, it's an old game, but I think it really holds up well still. To this day, it's a game that my friend actually owns this, and I've never played it. I think I'm going to end up purchasing this because I love me my little card games, and this is one that really good. Let's go to our 7th and final game of this week. This is So You've Been Eaten. This is a very gimmicky game because you can play this game 0 players, 1 player, or 2 player. Basically, the theme of this game is 1 player plays as this beast, who is trying to disintegrate and eat the other character, the miner. The other player who's playing is the miner. The miner is inside the beast, and he's just trying to mine these crystals that are inside the beast. And he's trying to get 8 crystals and out before he ends up getting disintegrated or dissolved or whatever. But he's inside the beast doing this. So the beast is playing cards and stuff, but you can play this game as a 1-player game as well, where you can play it as the miner or you can play it as the beast. I've only played this game solo, so I don't know about the 2-player game of this. And I will talk about the miner part, because the beast part, I really didn't enjoy it at all. And there was no reason why I would want to play the beast. So I'll just talk about the miner part. The miner is playing this like dice worker placement sort of game, where they're going to be rolling dice, placing dice out, and taking those actions. Along this board is a line of cards, and there's going to be certain bacteria on cards, there's going to be tools on some cards, there's going to be gems on some cards. So you are trying to mine the cards out, maybe get some tools which will help you do some special abilities. And at the end of your turn, after you've placed all 3 of your dice, the card that is closest to you is going to hit you with whatever bacteria that is. Then there is 4 tracks on the side for the beast, and if the beast moves up 4 along one of those bacteria tracks, there's 4 different tracks right there, the beast wins the game, the miner loses the game. The miner wins if he collects all 8 of the crystals that he has. So basically that's the solo 2-player game. In that the 0-player game is just you're playing the AI miner versus the AI beast. I never played it. I mean, it's very gimmicky, but I think it's interesting, but I would never probably try it out because I don't want to waste. I just rather play the game rather than watch the game play itself. But it's an interesting gimmick that they've thrown in there. This game, it's got such a cool, unique, interesting theme. I think it's silly that you're playing as a miner inside a beast trying to just collect gems from the inside of this beast. But there's some negatives for this game. It's got a bad rule book, and the gameplay is actually pretty pedestrian for myself. I wanted to like this game a lot, just because the silly theme, and it reminded me of another game, Under Falling Skies. But this one's only going to get a 6 rating. I'd much rather play Under Falling Skies than this game, and there's some similarities to it. But yeah, like I said, I'd much rather play Under Falling Skies than this game any day of the week. It's going to get a 6 rating. And it's because the beast is such a boring part for me, or the miner is an interesting part. The miner, if it was just the miner, I'd probably give it like a 6.5. The beast, I'd probably give a 5, 5.5. I didn't really like that side of the game at all. So yeah, it's a game, it's a little underwhelming for me from what I was expecting, but it is what it is. That is the entire 7 games for this reviews and ratings episode. Leave a comment down below of what you think of some of these games, if some of them interest you, or if you've played some of them. Either way, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me, Shane, at the board meeting in the future. Hope you all have an amazing day. Take care, everyone.